So yeah, welcome to our Critical Entertainment Showcase panel. We're going to go over some of the news of our company, and we have some new creators here and a few announcements. So let's kind of get started. So first of all, Critical Entertainment has joined Universal Distribution. So now all of our comic books and all our titles will be going through Universal Distribution, and they'll be available in comic book retail stores across the country here in the United States and in Canada. So it's real exciting after Diamond kind of fell apart. This is kind of a good way to get our books in the comic book shops now. And Universal is kind of starting to get more into the United States market. So right now they have DC, Dynamite, and Image, and a few other ones, and they'll be carrying Critical Entertainment books. And all the books you'll see here on the showcase. We also partnered up with Philbo Distribution. They're in the United States. They service a lot of independent comic books as well. We've been in their catalog since January. So again, all the titles you'll see here today, they'll be available to be ordered in retail comic book stores. Our next big announcement is we have established a new independent comic book collective where we pretty much take a bunch of indie publishers and we are going to help distribute them into Universal and Philbo as well. So this is a great option for people who fell off during Diamond and couldn't get distribution. So now we want to kind of offer a lot more independent publishers who don't really have that kind of option to get into comic book stores. And I teamed up with Thomas Cho here. He's going to be in charge of printing, shipping, and storage. So sort of the other idea is all of us teaming up together and printing together and shipping and storing together to kind of bring our costs down and make all of us a little bit more profitable. Thomas can talk maybe a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Well, I'll be in charge of all the things that publishers don't want to do and try to avoid. But the reality is something that everyone's looking to do better in terms of cutting the cost down, storing your book, and obviously with everything costing so much money, hauling it from point A to B, sometimes your orders doesn't get justified, all that. So in discussing that with my good friend over the years, Chris Equipment, I said, hey, we can do better. And if we could somehow get together a handful of guys who sees the vision and maybe plant the seed, and we could actually benefit from each other's volume from month to month. So I'm excited, Chris is excited. We've been talking about this thing at a Starbucks up in the Valley, California, about a year ago, right? So here we are, a year later. We get a lot of excitement. They're all excited, right? We offer cost savings. Who's not going to want that, right? So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so this will be a good opportunity for all of us kind of operate as a bigger publisher, but while keeping our independence. The first set of publishers that will be going through Universal are the following here: Red 5, Wiseacre Comics, Outland Entertainment, Bedbox, Forbidden Futures, Patriot Comic Books, Diabolic, 2510 Press, World of War Comics, Monkey Gong, Bear Treasure Studios, K-Toon Studios, Phantom Blade Productions, and Narwhal Press, and of course Critical Entertainment. So all these publishers will have the ability to have their books in comic book shops. And then next up we're going to talk about our new imprint, K-Toon Studios, which is going to be headed by Thomas Cho over here, and I'll be helping with editorial. And you can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thank you. Because we have a logo, which is creation of Kathy Chung. So K-Toon Studio will be introducing Korean web cartoon and web novels to the U.S. Comic book fans and readers. Korea comic book has a long history. It's called manhwa for many, many years. Heavily influenced by manga. in terms of format and the storytelling and how people read their books. But over the years, South Korea has gone completely digital. So what happened was printing went into a history book. So right now, as it stands, I think there's only one manhwa publishing company that actually print books. So everything's gone digital. And we all know, we're known as Webtoon. But actually Webtoon is interesting because that's a company, a platform in Korea, owned by Naver, which is Google of Korea. So I like to call it web cartoon, nothing else. So over the years, web cartoon has evolved into something very unique. The reading style and the storytelling is very unique on its own. So we're very excited to bring those contents into the U.S. mainstream market in a uniquely different than manga and anyone from overseas has done, is that we want to bring it into a floppy monthly issue magazine style. And what we ended up doing was we ran a contest for the last 2 months, as you can see, for Korean and English, to solicit, to get to know the creators, because we really want something different. And we have received more than 100 submissions, and we're just very excited to read through them. And our plan is, year 2027, is that have 3 ongoing series and titles published over the year. So we find Korean storytelling very unique and entertaining, and we know it as K-drama, right? K-movie, you see K everywhere. So on multiple platforms, I believe they have a very unique way of telling stories, and we can't wait until we bring that into the U.S. to the comic fans that always strive for something new, something different. And we're very excited, and this will be our first official announcement, and we'll be sending this video clip back to Korea and get the writers all excited as well. Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to go over a few of Critical Entertainment's books here. And we're going to start with Zoop campaign, crowdfunding campaign for the hardcover of Zombie Zero. First Zoop campaign for the hardcover of Zombie Zero, and right now this book is being optioned by Patriot Pictures, and it's being turned into a film right now. I can't share too much information about that, but it's well underway. And yeah, basically we had a trade paperback, and I've usually always sold out of it. Thomas here printed the first batch for me, and I thought once I sold out, I'd do a hardcover and try to capitalize on it being turned into a film. So it's story about the last zombie and the end of the zombie apocalypse. And the general idea was there was a scientist who pretty much captured the zombie. Society's able to get everything under control and kill off all the zombies. But the scientist doesn't want to give up his prized test subject. Someone comes in to try to kill the zombie and he escapes. So they have to get him back before he starts everything all over again. And we follow the perspective of the zombie and who he is as he's trying to like get home and figure out what's going on and where his family is. So the hardcover features some full color chapter covers. Before it was black and white, but we'll be printing the chapter covers in color. And we doing a little extended art gallery with work from artist Leandro Rizzo. And I'm putting in some of the script pages for people who are kind of like interested in seeing the script. So you'll see kind of art pages like this where you can see the progress of the artist. So really excited about this, excited about the film. Next up, we have The First Americans. This has been another really popular series that we've sold out many times. So I'm doing another printing of it, and I'm going to do an artist edition where I have more behind the scenes artwork and some of the black and white sketches, just like we're doing with Zombie Zero, so people can kind of see kind of like how the artist works and is kind of like mindset and how you can see the progression. So that's something that I like to do with some of my books, kind of really feature the artists and kind of give the readers something else to see. And then the first 3 issues are out right now. I have issue 3 right here, and we have them up there. And then this is what the cover art for issue 4 is going to look like. We just have it in the pencil stages, and it's going to be a wraparound cover, and that's being illustrated right now. So really excited for that book. It's going to be an 8-issue series, and that's been really popular for us. And then next is Planetary Expansion. This is my ongoing series about a colony ship heading to a new Earth-like planet in another solar system. And it kind of follows all these different characters, what it would be like to be on a long and dangerous space journey. So this one's been kind of a popular book for us. People who usually pick up the first few issues have been getting, the first 6. But right now we have issue 7 available here at the Colin. We only have a few left. And then issue 8, we only have a few copies left on our website. The first 6 have been distributed in the comic book shops, but now under Universal, we're going to re-release them as well, just like The First Americans. And then that'll be the first time comic book shops can get issue 7 and issue 8. We have an A cover, a B cover, and then issue 8 over here. And then this is what some of the interior pages look like. And then next up out of our imprint is graphic novel Blackout that we just debuted here at Comic-Con. It's about a 250-page book. And this is based off of this is a comic book adaptation from the film Blackout that was on Netflix starring Josh Duhamel. And it's basically about this CIA agent who goes undercover for a drug cartel in Mexico. He gets in a car accident, he loses his memory, and then he has to figure out which side he's on and who's trying to betray him. So this was a film that was on, I think, top of Netflix for a few weeks. So it's been a really popular film for Patriot Pictures here. You can watch it now. But basically the process is we took the film stills, I took the film stills, and then I turned them into comic book form. So you can essentially read the whole film out. It's a high action-packed, kind of like thriller, mystery. And it's a lot of fun. Josh Duhamel does a great job in it. There's a lot of great fight scenes in it. So that's available now at our booth 4014. You can watch it on Netflix, and you can get on patriotcomicbooks.com. And then we also debuted another graphic novel that's a comic book adaptation. Same kind of deal. It's based off the movie God is a Bullet, which is about this sheriff who his daughter gets kidnapped by a satanic cult. So he has to team up with one of the ex-members to try to infiltrate them and get his daughter back. This was directed by Nick Cassavetes, who also directed The Notebook famously, and once again, kind of like a high action thriller kind of mystery type book. You can watch the film too on a bunch of different platforms. I'll show you each one. But again, we took the film stills. We kind of did this nice comic book form. We kind of did this nice filter to kind of make it pop a little bit, make it look a little bit more like a comic book. And stars Nikolai Coster-Waldau and Jamie Foxx. And you can watch it on Blu-ray, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Fandango, and Stars. And the book's available now on the website and at our booth. So now I'd like to introduce some new creators that are joining the Critical Entertainment team this year. And we're going to start with Thomas Huls.
Thank you, Chris. So I came out with my title about 3 years ago called Kingsville. We did Kickstarter, built a community around Kingsville. We have 3 issues out, and the 4th one is in production now. With the partnership with Critical Entertainment, we've gone in and re-lettered everything, added a few scenes, and we're really excited about it. We're actually going to do a Kickstarter in the next week to launch issue 1. We'll have 5 covers. 2 of the covers will actually be Kickstarter exclusives. One is done by the award-winning Mike Vanderhoof. He is a tattoo artist, and for the last 25 years has won all kinds of awards for that. He's also very known for painting lowrider cars out in the LA area. He's done that for many years, and he is now doing comics. So this is his first cover that he's done. We're calling it the tattoo cover. It looks like a tattoo. You have to, I don't have a picture up here, but you'll have to check it out on Kickstarter. And then a Brandon Bravo from Uganda. He is an up-and-coming artist, and he has a cover which is pretty amazing. So those 2 covers will be exclusive to the Kickstarter, which will happen next week. The 3 covers that we do have is that first cover on that last slide, which is done by Dan Zay, who is our interior artist. This cover right here is Image Comics artist Jordan Noir. He is from Canada, and he is amazing. He just had Scorched 51 in the Spawn universe, the 1 in 50 come out. Good luck trying to find it. It's very expensive, or I would have one here. But he has done a couple covers for me over the last few years, and this cover will be launching with Critical Entertainment for distribution. And then we have a 3rd cover as well from DJ Weidrich, who is the writer of Glitch, and he does a lot of covers within the industry. So we're really excited about the Kickstarter that starts. We're very excited about Kingsville partnering with Critical Entertainment and getting into comic shops. So people have been buying it off TikTok Shop and our website for a long time. Now we're going to have some great distribution throughout the U.S., and I'm hoping that you all pick it up. It'll be a lot of fun. I also have a podcast called World at War Comics, and I interview just industry people. So I have about 460 or so interviews from Todd McFarlane to Chris Reda to you name it. I've had them on, Jeff Johns. So check us out. We're on every social. But thank you.
Thank you, Thomas. Okay, so for our next creator, Mike Smith, I've known him for a long time now, probably over 15 years. And he's been helping Critical Entertainment, and he's going to be he's released his first 2 books here at Comic-Con. We're going to have him talk a little bit about it.
Awesome.
And he has a company called Bear Treasure Studios, which is also part of the Indie Comic Alliance.
So thank you, Chris. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Smith. As mentioned, I am debuting 2 comics here at Comic-Con this time around. The first is Tazara, She Remembers. It is the story of a queen who manages to unite all of mankind during her first life towards the tail end of her life, she passes away and reawakens hundreds of years later to discover that the gods have descended onto her land and destabilized everything that she built. You know, a mistake they will soon come to know. This story I've been working on for a couple years now. I did a Kickstarter campaign roughly 2 years ago just to get the community backing to help manifest this vision of mine. And we did numbers. You know, I succeeded within the campaign, and through that Kickstarter, I was able to develop not just Tazara, but also Rhythm and Combat, my other comic that I'm debuting at this Comic-Con convention. Thanks to the support of Critical Entertainment, I've been able to stay the course, for lack of better words, in getting to this point. It's been a lot of trial and error, but we're here. The artist, Bartek Leszczyk, he's based out of Poland. He's an artist I met online. He read one of my stories before, and he was just eager to jump on board of the project. So when I presented him to Zara, the script, he was just all gung-ho. His art style, he did it all by hand in watercolor, very unique to me. And you know, this is what we're running with, this is what we're presenting. He's currently in the process of doing issue 2. We're looking to have issue 2 debut at downtown LA Comic-Con. If all things fall, of course, fall to plan. And then next to that, we also have Rhythm and Combat. Rhythm and Combat is a generational tale. It follows a Vietnam super soldier who, when betrayed, meets with a Kunichi, a Japanese ninja who's on a mission in Vietnam. The two decide to defect from their respective organizations, and as they defect and flee through the jungle, they come up with this martial art called the Iron Tree, which is a fusion of Shugendo, Aikido, and Capoeira. This is a generational tale that was inspired by the manga Tough, and I really wanted to create something that wasn't just set in one time period. I wanted to create a story that kind of transcends time. So at its inception, this martial art came about during the Vietnam War. We follow the sons and then the granddaughter who carry on this martial art that becomes less of a survival skill and more of a recognized global martial art. The artist, Ace Bibbs, I met him at this very convention 5 years ago. We did a little, there was an event that was an artist speed dating meetup, so it puts artists and writers together. We instantly clicked, went out that night, had a great time. Fast forward like 3 years, it was like, bro, why haven't we done anything yet? So after my Kickstarter campaign, I'm like, there's more than enough, let's do something. And this is what we came with. We were heavily influenced by Frank Miller's Sin City in terms of like going with a style that wasn't too bright, something a little bit more gritty to kind of properly depict what transpired during the Vietnam War. And as the story unfolds, you know, more color will be introduced. In both issues, again, debuted at this Comic-Con. Welcome to pick up at 4014. That's our booth. That's where I'll be with them.
Thank you, Mike. So next up, we have Jonathan Chance. I've known him for a few years now. He's an experienced writer here in the comic industry, very interested in film as well, and I'll let him go over his next book here.
Hi everyone. So this is the story that I'm working on right now, and we're looking to do a Kickstarter for in the fall. This is Moonlit Palms. I've got a little bit of story of what it's about. Moonlit Palms is an absorbing mystery horror thriller, one-shot long book comic, written and created by me and Damien Elfree, the exceptional cover artist and colorist of my award-winning Cover the Dead with Lime series in permadeath, published with Dead Sky Publishing. In this story, we both wanted and agreed that we wanted an ultra-realistic, atmospheric feel to take the reader to this world. With many of my horror stories, long or short, I want to incorporate emotional engagement for the reader, one that's uneasy or leaves you thinking afterwards. Moonlit Palms, I'm happy to say, will have you engrossed from beginning to end. What's Moonlit Palms about? It was supposed to be a brand new start. After ending an emotional relationship with his boyfriend, Josh Harnell and lifelong best friend Bradley Cobb set out to move into Moonlit Palms, a selective new modern housing development for the first-time renter in Dust Valley, Arizona. It seemed too good to be true. Friendly neighbors, luxury accommodations, music and late pool parties until the early hours of the morning. But something doesn't feel quite right. Nearby, 6 months 6 months earlier, an entire local community of Raversby was found slain inside its church. Its killer was never found. But what is the connection to the local town massacre and the new residents of Moonlit Palms? We will take you on a journey of intrigue with an ensemble of characters at key points in the story as we unravel the mystery of Moonlit Palms. In the beginning, a detective called Lewis Donovan and his captain take on a case, both having personal attachments for doing so. The captain as a distraction for our own missing son, and for Lewis Donovan, who's also a gay man in a very straight-orientated world, immediately feels an attachment on a case surrounding what's taking place. The secrets we keep. Meanwhile, Sheriff McMyer and his family with connections to the earliest slain town of Raversby, we wonder, what is their connection to the story? The sheriff, with the love of his family and faith, has strong, debilitating and conflicting factors to overcome what took place in Raversby and the new mysterious goings-on with the newly built housing estate of Moonlit Palms. And who, what, or they killed the hamlet of people in its own church in brutal fashion. Suspicions rise to a killer that suggests extremist or a cult. There could be, but could there be something more? Upon arriving at Moonlit Palms, Josh notices leering eyes on him from windows and homes. You'll be immersed in a story of intrigue and terror, beautifully told visually with moods and textures, where sometimes the sunniest places are the darkest. This art is all done by Damien Elfali. We worked together, I was saying earlier on Cover the Devil and Permanent, and his art is just, I think it's really engrossing and really will bring so much, I think, to the story visually. So we're actually going to be doing a Kickstarter for this in the fall, and we'd love for you guys to actually be a part of this. Actually, I've got it written down here as well. So we're actually going to be having exclusive limited edition variant covers only available in Kickstarter from some of the best horror industry professionals, signed limited art, and once we break down the earliest tiers for donating amazing new perks, as we unlock them, real comic book creators' questions and answers, you'll be able to get a comic book creators' questions and answers with me. You can also be a part of the story, part of the credits, and also be able to join me at one of my comic book signings as well. It's through this side of the table. Please scan the QR code and sign up for updates from Moonlit Palms. Myself and Daniel want to put you in the hot seat. We invite you into my process of horror storytelling for the first time. Please also follow us on Instagram here as well, at Critical Entertainment. Thanks.
Our last creator is Francis Marfone. I got put together with him through an agent of his. He's very interested in film as well, and he has this new comic book project that I thought was very interesting, and I'll let him talk about it.
Thank you, Chris. And actually, can we just get another round of applause for Chris and all the amazing creators out here? Amazing story. You all are passionate about it. And thank you guys for coming, because it just warms my heart to see so many wonderful faces in the crowd in a community that loves comics as much as I do. So, yes, my name is Francis Marfone, and the story that I'm working on today is The Wheel Turner. I would like to again thank you, Critical Entertainment, for letting me publish this. But yeah, basically, The Wheel Turner is kind of the marrying of Conan the Barbarian with Dev Patel's Monkey Man. So if you like kinetic action and brutal cosmic horror, this is the story for you. This is going to be a bloody Bronze Age revenge odyssey. Yeah. So. This story follows Kali, a grieving widow, as she hunts down her husband's killer across a primeval landscape teeming with monsters both human and mythic. Goading every step of her dogged pursuit is the ghastly Pale Man, a cosmic entity stinking of rotting stars who feasts on the ruin left in her wake. He's like the devil on her shoulder, but this guy would scare the devil. So, as she crosses blades with flesh peddlers and ravenous raiders and slays towering Rakshasa and survives mountains crawling with demonic ghouls, she comes face to face with humanity's eternal question, which is to say, should she let this go, allow forgiveness, or pursue this journey to its end and achieve bloody satisfaction? And as she dives into the depths of her greatest pains to uncover the truth and forsakes her eternal afterlife to find her prey, she starts to question this thoroughly. So, as she is going along in her journey, she will see the suffering that she has faced so many times in her life in the faces of innocence she encounters on her journey. She will start to understand the weight of her choice and that she might yet have time to amend it. But, as you will see on the next slide, there is still a fire of truth that burns in her veins. Truth that her family, her lover, her shelter was taken from her. And those who made that come to fruition will not be spared from her wrath. She will turn her wheel and crush the world beneath it if that means getting bloody satisfaction. So, this amazing art has been constructed by Aishwarya Chandra Mohan. She has been vital in bringing this project to life and in also contributing a lot of her insight on Hindu mythology, which we are incorporating into this sort of Indus Valley Bronze Age Odyssey. And along with that, she has been an amazing collaborator with all this, encouraging new ideas, fresh takes, and kind of just having an amazing artistic vision. I'd also like to thank Chris Reda again for publishing this, and give a shout out to my friends and family and my girlfriend, who have been endlessly supportive in letting me pursue this path and just being the muses in my life. So I hope real quick, sorry, before I get into that. We are doing a Kickstarter in December. A really cool Kickstarter. It's going to have super awesome, really awesome rewards and levels of merch and cool swag that you can get, including keychains and stickers and maybe even trading cards of characters and monsters that you'll see throughout the books. But basically, if you scan the QR code right now, join the mailing list before the end of this event, you will get an exclusive digital download of the A cover that Shu has rendered in the most horrendous and fantastic manner. And yeah, any and all support is appreciated. I would love to show you guys the process behind this journey. Thank you again to everyone who came out today to see this. Thank you to all the creators and Chris for making this possible. I hope everyone has the support of their loved ones, because if not, the Pale Man is going to be reaching in and grabbing your heart soon. Don't worry. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Francis. It's good having you guys here. I'm excited to publish all your books and get you guys into comic book shops there. I'm just going to end on another book that I've had published for a while, but that's been kind of making the rounds and doing really well. It's Space Dragon. This is about a huge dragon. He can hop from planet to planet, and he's looking for a new water source. And it's this 7.5 by 12 book, which kind of like illustrates how big and massive this dragon is. But this has been a really good book for me for a long time. Thomas helped me print it, and it's doing good. I've been getting a lot more reviews on it, and people love it. The art is amazing by Alonzo Molina Gonzalez. I also have a variant cover here by Devin Kurtz. She's done a lot of other really amazing work. And yeah, I just wanted to thank my artists that I've worked with, Alonzo Molina Gonzalez, Leandro Rizzo, and then Tad Galush on The First Americans is really amazing too. So it's exciting to work with all these great artists and these great writers. So you know, we're looking forward to kind of like a nice, bright, bigger future here for Critical Entertainment. You can find us at criticalentertainmentla.com. You can find our imprints, Patriot Comic Books, at patriotcomicbooks.com. And then right now, you can find information on K-Toon Studios at criticalentertainmentla.com / K-Toon Studios. And you can find more information on the Indie Comic Alliance at indiecomicalliance.com. You can also also find us at our booth here at Comic-Con. We're here every year. We're at the same booth every year at 4014. You'll find us kind of like between Nickelodeon and kind of like Star Wars area. So that's kind of the end of our showcase here. We really appreciate you guys coming out. I'm glad we could showcase some of these great creators. We're really looking forward to publishing you guys and having some more books in our lineup. And then we're going to open the floor up to questions and answers. So if any of you guys have any questions, please come on up and ask us.
Hello. Good. Well, it's afternoon now. But, so a couple of questions. I'm going to say Mr.
Marfone?
Marfone?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
I couldn't see if that was an F.
Oh, you're good.
Blurry. So I wanted to ask if you're going to play with the idea, it's not the act, and I don't know where I heard this, it's not the act, it's living with yourself after.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There are going to be some instances, well, this is a revenge story. And in my mind, revenge is always about the passion of the moment and the icy coldness that starts to leak into your heart afterwards. I think that's kind of what makes every revenge story great, is it forces you to reckon with not holding yourself back and the consequences of that. So there will be, actually in issue 3, a friend of hers from her past will become an enemy, and it will leave her questioning everything, and it's kind of a turning point in the story for her. But I'm excited to get into the darkest depths of the human soul here, and also pull ourselves back out by the end.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions from anybody? Everybody good?
I actually have a question for the audience. You guys having a good time today? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, we got a question over here. Okay.
My question is, in terms of like the zombie stories and other stories, how do you feel? Do you feel like the pressure from other zombie stories and figuring out how to like make a niche with the way you're telling your zombie story as opposed to the other ones?
Yeah, it's funny. I sometimes have some rude people come up and just go, "Oh, another zombie story," and it's like, "Okay, thanks, that was helpful." I really wanted to do something more unique in the genre. I've always loved the genre. I think 28 Days Later was huge in a lot of these films in like the 2000s, and me and my roommates would just be like, okay, if there's an outbreak, what do we do to try to survive in the dorms here? You barricade the stairs and fill the tub full of water and try to survive. So as I was in film school, I always kind of wanted to do a zombie story. And a few buddies and I were kind of playing around with different ideas, and we're like, what if it was the last zombie at the end of the zombie apocalypse? And I thought this was something different, because instead of it always being the outbreak and the first zombies and the first people who get infected, it's what if it's the last zombie? And what if we follow him as he's trying to get back to his family, so we can kind of sympathize with him? So, this is kind of a spiritual successor to Frankenstein, the misunderstood monster, where he's really, not out to try to kill people, but he's trying to just figure out who he is, what's going on, why everyone's trying to kill him, and where his family's at. So it's been an interesting take on the genre. I think that's probably one of the reasons why Michael Mendelson is going to produce it at Patriot Pictures. So something different, and it's, everyone loves zombies. It's a really easy sell at our booth. The second I say it's about the last zombie at the end of the zombie apocalypse, everyone goes, oh my God. And then they'll just pick it up. So, that was kind of the reasoning behind that.
To kind of piggyback off that one, do you play with the idea of the morality of extinction, right? And I've seen this been thrown around. People have said we would be able to make mosquitoes sterile and they would go extinct.
cure to something else and unlocks the cure to something else. I mean, the reality is something in this kind of realm, you might not know if the person is still inside of them, you know? So extinguishing the flame on the zombie virus and everyone who has it, you know, you are kind of ending someone's life. So it plays a little bit with that. Ironically, Space Dragon kind of plays around with that. It's like this dragon is just trying to survive. So, you know, I play a lot with survival in a lot of my stories. And I kind of play with it in the First Americans too, because these are people who are living in the Ice Age, and if they don't evolve and survive, then they go extinct.
In terms of, so last thing about Korean comics.
Question. Oh.
So just
Let's go.
my question is, in terms of so you'll select, like if I understand correctly, you'll select, you know, you have the contest, so you're going to select what you'll print. Have you ever thought of like doing any like American comics in the style of Korean? You know how Americans sometimes do like the manga stuff or the Japanese like cartoon style. Have you ever thought of like seeing if you guys could? I mean, I know you're already doing it, but what do you? Is it exciting? How does it feel that you're doing that? You're going to publish one like for everyone. How do you feel about that?
Well, if I could, this is the question. First of all, a lot of American comic publishers are going the other way. They have deals with Webtoon, converting their art into their score with a unique format to do that already. So for us, what is exciting for us is that, you know, I've been in the industry for a long time, printing books, and I'm always fascinated by and impressed by the creators up here. And I shouldn't be up here talking about creation, I think. But I've met so many stories of Korean creators, but they're stuck in Korea from a gigantic corporation. And then individually, they're very creative, but they just don't have the means or the outlet to come into the US and show their work. It's amazing. You talk about zombies. I don't know when Korea started doing zombies. Zombie is a complete non-Korean concept. But they hijacked it and made it into something different. It's the same zombie story, but it's uniquely different. And that's the kind of storytelling that I think so many artists and creators in Korea are waiting to do. And in that way, our focus initially is bringing Korean web cartoon, web novel stories into the US. And reverse it is probably our next step. Same thing, but once again, Korea is very uniquely in a way, everything has gone digital. So you could find plenty of US comic content on their site. Does that answer your question? Thank you.
Another question for, I want to say Mr. Cho.
Yeah.
Does this position, having worked in printing for so long, and how does that inform your opinion on the digital media? Do you think, I think a lot of companies have been moving to digital only and doing away with the physical. So I was wondering how that informs your opinion on that particular topic.
Well, I'm in printing, so I'd
Right.
like to go away. Of course, I hope not. But in Korea, like I said, in Korea, in South Korea for that matter, is everything's gone digital. I grew up reading Korean manga, what they call manabang, which is a comic book store. You pay for reading in store, you pay extra amount of money per volume to do that. But it's all gone away. But there's the storytellers haven't gone away to do it. And what I find it amazing, what I try to explain to all our potential creators are that the US here, we have this crazy fan base. They still pay money to buy comic books. And they said, the first thing they say is, why? Because they're online. Oh, it's sort of a collectible item. It's like, they collect comic books? Are they crazy? Well, they are crazy in that sense. So this is our first step. So I believe it's a completely different market to do it. But once again, digital is here to stay, obviously. But the reading experience is quite different. You'll see that hopefully next year we could actually put up more than our logo to show you what the reading experience is. So it's a completely different reading experience and the way we see our books.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it's great that that you can still get things like comic books and everything's being made into downloads and streaming. And I think that it's so important that we have something tangible. Imagine everything disappeared and all we got left. Books are disappearing, comics are disappearing. And there's just something really, amazing about seeing your comic book in the store. Like I actually went back to where I grew up. When I first got into comic books when I was 8 or 9 years old, and to see my comic book in there, it's stuff that's now. The guy was still working there, So I think that to be able to have both those things, to be able to view them on the phone for accessibility, but to have them in tangible form, I mean, it makes them rare as well, doesn't it? Like in the limited edition variants and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had a friend read Space Dragon on his phone, and he was just like,
It's like, slow down, enjoy the art.
and he's like, I'm done. I was like, wow, that took me a year to put together. But like this book, it's extra large. It takes advantage of kind of the comic book medium that you can't get this on a phone. You can't get like some of this wonderful artwork. You can't get some of this wonderful artwork on your phone. So again, like I've always liked having physical prints. I've been a collector of a lot of different things, comics and sports cards and stuff. Tommy's doing a bunch of different variant covers with a lot of prolific artists. They're going to be limited print run. If it ever gets turned into a television series, who knows how much they'll be worth. There was a time I saw the first Walking Dead for $100, and I was like, wow, that's expensive. And I just passed up on it, and now I regret that.
It's like 4,000. We just heard from Marvel that they're shutting down their app for reading comics, and they're just going to put it into webtoons. So I feel like the U.S. market, like you said, is a much different market. I think we're going to be very slow to adapt in digital only. I think it'll continue to grow, especially younger generations will probably pick it up. But because of the collectability, we're really unique in North America. US and Canada are very big on the floppy side of the business. The rest of the world is digital or they're trade only, especially in Europe. I mean, they don't have floppies like we do here. It's very rare. So we're in a unique market. I think that's why it makes sense for amazing creators that are digital in South Korea to be able to have a physical medium in the United States where we consume that more than anything else. So it makes perfect sense, and I don't see that slowing down. I don't know if I'd be at San Diego Comic-Con if it was just digital and comics anymore. I'm not sure what I would do with myself, but I think the market is still very strong on the physical side in the US, and I'm not sure we're going to change that anytime soon. And I think Marvel just proved that, trying to maintain their own site with 200,000 titles, they're just like, Webtoons does it better than anybody. They got 151 million readers. Let's just put all of our content over there, and that makes a lot of sense. We'll see what DC does in the near future. I know we have Global Comics, which is great, a lot of indie. But yeah, it'll be really interesting. I don't think it's going to go away, at least the physical market, anytime soon.
And all our comics are on Global Comics, Amazon Kindle. We're looking to try to get on some other platforms. So, it's just for indie comics, getting your stuff out anywhere is kind of the goal. All right. We have time for one more question.
My question is actually about distribution. So, I don't know, some of you are like that old people. Like, when I was a kid, they used to sell, comics, in regular bookstores. They don't do that anymore. And you go to, a Barnes & Noble now, it's, all trades.
Yeah.
And then there's, a huge section for, manga and that kind of stuff. Are you guys planning on
another nice thing about the Indie Comic Alliance is a lot of these distributors for brick and mortar stores, they require more titles. So if we're all working together, we have more titles, it becomes a lot more attractive to those type of distributors. So we have some inroads with a few of them, so that is definitely part of our plan moving forward. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.